Why silence makes you magnetic. The confidence hack nobody tells you. Awaken mindset. Asterisk. Ion Taro. Have you ever noticed that the most magnetic people in the room are often the quietest? They don't fight for attention, they don't rush to speak, and yet everyone seems drawn to them. Think about it. Maybe it was that one classmate who never said much, but every time he did, people stopped and listened. Or that woman at a party who didn't have to tell a single joke. Her calm presence made people curious, made people want to know more. Here's the paradox most of us miss. Silence, when used with confidence, is louder than any words you could ever speak done in today's world. Everyone is talking, posting, shouting for validation. But the people who understand the power of silence, they stand out. They create mystery. They radiate calm. And they project a deep kind of confidence that makes others lean in instead of pull away. And that's what this video is about. We're going to break down why silence is so magnetic, how science proves it creates attraction, trust, and respect, real-life examples of how silence works in conversations, relationships, and leadership, and finally, how you can start using this confidence hack today to transform the way people see you. This isn't about being shy. It's not about being passive. Silence, when mastered, is an active tool. It's a form of presence. It's a kind of social power most people overlook. So stay with me until the end, because I promise by the time you finish this video, you'll never think about silence the same way again. Welcome to Awaken, mindset where psychology meets self-mastery. Part 1, the hidden power of silence. Silence makes people uncomfortable. Why? Because most of us are conditioned to fill every gap with noise. In conversations, when there's a pause, people panic. They feel pressured to say something. But here's where the power lies. When you don't rush to fill the silence, you send an unspoken message. Uncomfortable with myself. I don't need to prove anything. I don't need to beg for attention. That calm presence is magnetic. Humans are wired to follow confidence. And confidence is best displayed not through words, but through composure. Think of a lion. It doesn't roar all day. It's silent most of the time. But when it moves, when it acts, every other animal pays attention. Silence works the same way in human psychology. Science of silence neuroscience shows us that silence actually heightens attention. When someone pauses before speaking, our brains lean forward, waiting. Psychologists call this the pause effect. It increases perceived authority because people assume you're deliberate, thoughtful, and in control. Part 2, silence in attraction in dating and relationships. Silence is one of the most overlooked tools. Picture this. You're on a date. Instead of nervously filling every gap with chatter, you allow moments of silence. You hold eye contact. You smile. You let the other person wonder. That pause creates tension. Tension creates attraction. When you don't over-explain yourself. When you don't rush to prove your value, you signal, I already know my value. That's magnetic dot. In fact, psychologists studying attraction found that mystery is one of the strongest drivers of interest. And nothing builds mystery like silence. Part 3, silence in social power. Silence doesn't just attract romantically, it commands respect socially. Leaders who speak less but with intention are perceived as more powerful. Studies in organizational psychology reveal that people who dominate meetings with endless words are often ignored. But those who speak concisely after long listening are seen as wise and authoritative. Think of historical figures like Mahatma Gandhi or Nelson Mandela. Their silence was often more powerful than their words. They didn't need to shout. Their presence spoke for them. Part 4, the emotional impact of silence. Silence also builds connection. Sometimes the deepest moments between two people happen without words. Sitting together, walking together, holding hands. Psychologists call this companionable silence. It means you've reached a level of comfort where words aren't necessary. And that, ironically, makes relationships stronger. In conflict, silence is also powerful. Instead of reacting instantly with anger, staying quiet can disarm tension. It shows maturity. It gives space for emotions to cool down. It prevents regret. Part 5. How to use silence as a confidence hack. Now, the question is, how do you start applying this in daily life? 1. The power pause before answering a question. Pause for 2 seconds. This small delay makes your response feel more intentional. It also keeps people hanging on your words. 2. Hold the gaze in conversation. Combine silence with steady eye contact. Don't overdo it, but allow the silence to create depth. 3. Don't rush to fill gaps when there's a pause in dialogue. Resist the urge to jump in. Let others speak. People will often reveal more than they planned when you give them the space. 4. Speak less. Say more. Trim unnecessary words. When you finally speak, your words carry more weight. 5. Practice silent presence sometimes. You don't need to say anything at all. Enter a room calmly. Smile. Let your body language communicate. Part 6. Real-life examples in dating. The person who doesn't overshare creates curiosity. Why aren't they rushing to impress me? That curiosity builds attraction. In negotiation, the salesperson who stays quiet after naming a price usually wins. The other side fills the silence, often with concessions. In leadership, the manager who listens first, speaks last, is seen as wise and authoritative. Part 7. The mindset. Behind silence, the secret is this. Silence is only magnetic when it comes from inner confidence. If you're quiet because of fear, people sense insecurity. If you're quiet because of strength, people sense power. So the key is not just practicing silence, it's building the mindset behind it. Tell yourself, I am enough. I don't need to prove anything with words. My presence is enough. When you truly believe that, silence becomes effortless. So here's the truth. Silence isn't emptiness. It's presence. It's the space where confidence breathes. It's the invisible magnet that draws people toward you without you lifting a finger. The next time you're tempted to overshare, fill the room with noise. Pause. Let the silence do the work. Because silence, when mastered, isn't weakness. It's one of the strongest signals of self-assurance. And that's why silence makes you magnetic. If this video spoke to you, join our community here at Awaken Mindset, a space where we explore the psychology of attraction, confidence, and self-mastery. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs to hear it. And keep growing with us, because sometimes the loudest transformations begin in silence.